All right. Very good. Well, welcome everyone. This is the Des Moines, Iowa user group, and we're happy to have you here. We're excited for today's topic. So I've got just a few announcements that I'll run through real quick, and then we're going to turn it over, Dana, to you to share some good insights from career standpoint, certification standpoint, whatever it is that you have for us. We're excited. So welcome everyone again. Let's take a look. So already mentioned there, we've got Dana here from Salesforce. She is part of the certification and training team at Salesforce. And so excited to have her with us. Clarissa and myself are your group leaders here in Des Moines for the admin side. We have Karen and Joseph as our nonprofit leaders. I don't know if either of them are on. If you are, feel free to speak up. Let us know what's going on with your group. And then for the developer group, we've got Jerome and Sulab. And I don't think I saw either of them either. So check out what they have happening in their user groups as well if you're interested at all in those. The big announcement that I have for today is our next user group meeting is a hybrid event. So that means that we'll be both live and doing this online. The really cool thing is that, well, there's two cool things about this particular event. One is we're going to be in a new location. So ESO is a company that's located downtown on Locust Street. Parking is, I believe, right across the street from there. And it's a really cool venue. I've seen pictures of it. Clarissa actually works there. It's awesome. It's also centrally located, so you won't have some of the challenges of trying to get all the way out on the west side of town. So what we're going to do is for our hybrid meetings, we'll alternate between this location and the Holmes Murphy location in Waukee. So centrally located, it's downtown. If you can, please try to actually come on site for that meeting. It will be hybrid. You'll be able to watch online. But the reason I'd like you to come on site is because Stuart Edel is actually our speaker, and he's going to be on site. He's coming to Des Moines, and Stuart's awesome. And I know you probably get tired of me saying that about all of our speakers, but honestly, I don't invite people who aren't awesome to meet you. So Stuart is awesome, and I really would love to have you meet him. If you've never met the guy, he holds, I think, every certification out there. I think he's like 28 of them, something like that. The guy is incredibly smart. If you've got people who are more along the lines of architecture, this would be a fantastic section, our session for them as well. And for those of you who are new, it's also, I mean, it's the title right there says it's building easy stuff. So it's really designed for everybody. But Stuart is just fantastic. He's also going to hang out with us afterwards for a bit. So if you want a chance to meet him, please come on site so you have that opportunity. A reminder, because it's hybrid, your invites will all say that it starts at 11 o'clock. It does start at 11 o'clock for those that are on site. That's when we'll have our lunch. And then virtually it will start at 11:30. So keep that in mind for next month's meeting. It's also on a different day. It's on Friday, when almost always our meetings are on Thursday. So keep in mind this one is on Friday. It's done that way to accommodate Stuart's schedule. So please come on site if you can. The invite or the RSVP site for this is now live. So you probably got notified of that this morning, just a little bit ago. So take advantage of that opportunity. Our other sessions are listed here, the QR code if you'd like a link to get to our event site.
If you need more incentive to come on site next month, I believe we are also planning to host a happy hour, and our office is empty on Fridays. So the user group just gets to take it over. So
nice.
A little birdie told me there will be beverages after the meeting if you are so inclined to have a relaxing Friday afternoon.
Excellent. There you go. Another reason to come downtown and be in person. Upcoming events that are community-based is the DevOps Dream-In event that's in Chicago. We just received a notice from the leaders of that group inviting us to make sure that we all knew about the event. It is downtown Chicago. For those interested in the DevOps piece, April 18th and the 19th, Texas Dream-In is coming up. And then you've got all your other Dream-In events, including Midwest Dream-In, our personal favorite, in August. And our Slack channel, for those that are interested in Slack, I'll leave that up. The only slide left is just the welcome. We're glad that you're here. And I do want to, at this point, turn it over to Dana. Thank you so much. I know it was a little bit of a juggling event to get things coordinated, but I'm so happy that you're here. And I'm going to just be quiet and let you take it from here.
Thank you, Terry. I appreciate the opportunity. And I actually appreciate all of you being here. So before we get started, I'm Dana Kalija. And let me share my screen real quick. It says disabled share. So one second.
There
it is.
My fault. For that.
Gotcha. No worries. No worries.
Dana, it looks like you're muted. Uh-oh. Headphone issue.
Okay.
We've all been there. Oh, you're still muted.
I don't have the ability to unmute her. Doesn't look like. Did it go mute when she attempted to share?
It looked like it did. Yeah, I don't think it's letting her unmute.
Yeah.
Oh no, we still can't hear you.
Whatever you did there, just a moment. Did it?
There we go.
Did that work?
It did, yeah.
Rock on. Okay.
Hello,
Let's try this again. So can you guys see
awesome.
my slides?
You're here?
We do not.
I'll be right now.
Do not see the slides yet.
Okay.
I'm going to mute a few other people here.
It says I'm screen sharing.
You might maybe try unsharing it and trying that again and see if that works for us. It says that it's trying. It is starting to share, but it's not.
Oh, and it looks like it
all the
muted
way
you again
through.
too.
Oh, it did. Interesting.
If you have Google Slides, maybe you can send the link to me or Terry and one of us can share.
Yeah.
Slides.
Can you guys still hear me?
Yes, we do. Yep.
Awesome.
Oh, there it came. It's in.
There we go.
We
Perfect.
see it.
It's a miracle.
Okay.
Great.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Now we're going. Okay, so before we get started, I'm Dana Kalija, and I am one of the directors at Trailhead Academy for certifications. And just out of curiosity, if you guys can go to the reaction buttons and just throw a thumbs up if you are certified. Nice. Love it. Okay. And then how about a heart if you're thinking about getting certified? Very cool. Cool. Okay, great. So I've got the right group here. Just checking. All right. So before we get started, on this slide, we have some forward-looking statements. Any of you who have attended Salesforce presentations before are familiar with it. There's some legalese but what we're really trying to make sure that you know is that what you hear today can change. Plans can change. And Salesforce is a publicly traded company, and customers should base their purchasing decisions on products and services, should not base their purchasing decisions on products and services that are not yet available, and only base them on products and services that are currently available. So with that out of the way, let's get started. So first of all, thank you. It's incredible that you guys have this community, that you come together, that clearly has some really rich programming, and it does so much to build the Salesforce community and help other Trailblazers along. So thank you for inspiring us, and I hope to make today a valuable use of your time. Your success is a priority for Salesforce, and that's why we do the work that we do. So we're in a new world where economic uncertainties and increasing customer expectations are challenging businesses like never before. And Salesforce is more committed than ever to lead with our core values and help our customers deliver success now in this new world. It's a new day for business and work. Digital transformation, uncertain economic times, and emerging from a post-pandemic world are creating new challenges for companies, and they need skilled employees like you. Digital skills are needed in order to transform businesses and succeed. Digital transformation continues to change which skills are needed, and while the skills gap continues to grow, jobs are continuing to evolve, and you need to continue to evolve your skills. So as you can see, the need to adapt and make upskilling and reskilling a priority is significant. With Salesforce credentials, Trailblazers can find success now in this new day of business and work. While creating business transformation and jobs evolve, Trailblazers can progress their career by earning credentials. Credentials are an opportunity to gain credibility and acknowledgement of your skills with that Salesforce endorsement. By earning a credential, you're proving not only your skills and knowledge, but are also identifying yourself as the expert in the room, and also as someone who invests in their own career development. To help our customers address these challenges and changes, we're reimagining our success ecosystem to accelerate the time to value, delivering success now and throughout your Salesforce journey. So with Salesforce, not only do you get world-leading technology with the Customer 360, but also the #1 success ecosystem is built right into the platform. So you've got Trailhead Academy, professional services, success plans, partners to help you achieve success, and also the App Exchange. Together, we help you accelerate time to value and deliver customer magic. So today, I'm actually here to talk to you, though, about how you can accelerate your career with Salesforce credentials. So let's make it a little bit more personal. To prove your expertise, Salesforce has a wide range of credential offerings. To begin with, we have our hands-on product credentials. Super badges are real product-based credentials that provide hands-on experience solving real-world business challenges. Can I get a thumbs up from any of you that have done a super badge? Amazing. That's awesome. It's a good experience, right? I mean, I've enjoyed it. It's so much fun to get hands-on. For those of you that don't know what we're talking about, super badges are free on Trailhead, but what differentiates them from other content on Trailhead is that they're completed in a Salesforce org without detailed instructions. So you're kind of given this playground to go out and try to prove what you know. Super badges are made up of super badge units. Super badge units are standalone assessments that focus on a specific area of product functionality. Units are then grouped together by topic, and then they're followed by a capstone challenge that grants the super badge specialist level credential. Supersets are made up of super badges that give an opportunity to showcase expertise in a particular role-based domain. So once a Trailblazer completes the super badges as part of a superset, there's a capstone assessment that can be completed to summarize one's expertise. And then once you're done with that, the superset badge now appears on your Trailblazer tb.me profile. Up next, we have our role-based credentials, which are certifications. And this is where I play, and it's a fun place to be. So we have two types of certifications available. The associate certifications are our entry point certifications, and they validate foundational knowledge and are designed for individuals looking to start their certification journey. So it's a really great way to get your feet wet in certification and start your journey. Professional certifications like the Salesforce administrator or platform app developer they prove range and depth of role experience. Professional certifications are designed for individuals with an extensive range of experience, knowledge, skills, and abilities in a specific Salesforce role. So no matter where you are or what role you play, Salesforce has a path for you. Roles might look a little different at your company, but these are some that we typically see from customers, including business analysts, admins, developers, sales and service managers, and marketers. And there's one that isn't on here that's my favorite. So I come from the Tableau side of the certification house, and the Tableau Certified Data Analyst is my absolute favorite. So as we have certifications spanning across numerous roles, you'll also see these continue to grow. And no matter the role, there's a credential available for it to validate today's most in-demand skills. So as you begin your journey, or you've already identified which role is right for you, we have a number of resources available for you. So you can learn at your own pace with free cert prep on Trailhead and through Cert Day webinars. And I'm betting some of you have attended those. You can join Trailblazer community groups that focus on your skills or the certification you're preparing for. And you can build and validate expertise with Trailhead Academy expert-led classes or Trailblazer Bootcamp. So we just wrapped a Trailblazer Bootcamp at the end of TDX last week in San Francisco. And then at the end of April, first week of May, we're kicking off another boot camp here in Atlanta. So come join me, take a look at those. Let's have some fun. So when it comes to earning and even maintaining your credential, we also have a brand new portal available to help Trailblazers find their way. The Certification Help Resources portal is available to enable Trailblazers to self-service when it comes to finding information about earning and or maintaining a Salesforce certification. The portal connects resources within the Trailblazer community and the Trailhead knowledge base to create one seamless experience. On the homepage, you'll see their certification status, what maintenance you have due, a curated list of helpful community posts. And there are also featured resources, including help articles on verifying certification status, scheduling the certification exam, and linking Trailhead and Web Assessor accounts. But don't worry, if you're still unable to find the resources you need, you can still access more guided assistance by opening a case with the Trailhead help team. So going back to our selection of credentials, we also offer our accredited professional credentials. And so these credentials have just joined the Trailhead Academy team, and we're so happy to have them on board. These accredited professional credentials are available to partners, and they help partners improve their partner score and prove their expertise to customers. So they are earned in the Partner Learning Camp, also known as the PLC, and they empower Salesforce partners with the tools they need to confidently deliver projects and drive customer success. Over the past 2 years, we've introduced 39 accredited professional exams in the Partner Learning Camp, along with supporting content to help prepare for exams. These credentials are exclusively available to the Success ecosystem. Accredited professional credentials span across Salesforce products, industries, and non-technical skills, so partners are equipped to be implementation ready and solve customer challenges. The key benefits of earning an accredited professional credential are increased depth of Salesforce expertise, and I will say that that is a key benefit of earning any Salesforce credential. The majority of candidates who responded to a survey that we put out said that one of the greatest benefits they saw in preparation for passing their exam was increased confidence and depth of experience with the products. Also, earning a credential helps you improve your competitiveness in the market. From the partner credentials, where the partners can help differentiate themselves and really speak to customers and say we're qualified to deliver on your engagement, to differentiating yourself when you're applying for a job, when you're looking to get promoted. That's what credentials help you do. And then also acceleration of new cloud opportunity. As new products are introduced into the market, accredited professional credentials and curricula are available to skill up and meet customer demand. And the other benefit with credentials, and not just the accredited professional benefits, is that accelerated time to proficiency. In that same survey that we conducted with title holders, they said that they were more proficient more quickly with our products when they studied for and earned credentials. So as you can see, we have a wide variety of credential offerings that provide an opportunity for anyone, no matter where they are in their Salesforce journey, to validate. So once you earn your credentials, what's next? You can show off your credential success. You can connect with other credentialed individuals in the community and on LinkedIn by sharing your badges, and stay up to date on the latest releases and credential news. So you can keep your resume up to date, because you never know what your next opportunity is around the corner. We also give you the opportunity to share your achievements on your Trailblazer.me profile. And we've got all of our Salesforce, MuleSoft, and Slack certifications available there. So across our ecosystem, you can see all of the credentials that you've earned. In order to maintain your Salesforce certifications, all certified professionals must successfully complete Trailhead maintenance modules specific to their certification. All certifications require completion of one maintenance module per year. Trailhead offers a verification tool for certified professionals or employers to verify a Salesforce certified professional certification status. And while we want you to enjoy that credential, don't forget to plan what's next. So stay up to date with the latest credentials releases and refreshes, and plan your next move. So that's the end of the formal presentation. And now I would really love to just get into any questions that you guys have. I'm going to stop sharing here. And just go ahead, and I would love to talk about certification.
All right, so feel free to unmute, feel free to use the chat window, whatever you're comfortable with, and ask away. I think a question that I have for you, maybe Dana, is for a long time I've been on the CTA path, and I've got both of I qualify to sit for the board. I just have never felt like I understood the topics well enough to do it effectively. What do you recommend for someone like that might, that architectural technical architect piece is so involved, and there's without a lot of hands-on experience, I struggle with the confidence of knowing it's one of those things, and I'm going to confess this to those that are my customers probably online. When I'm talking with customers, a lot of times I will say things when it gets into some of those deeper technical things. I think that this is what we need to do, as opposed to I know this is what we need to do, and being able to defend the reasoning behind that. What do you guys recommend as kind of that getting, and this I think can apply to really almost any certification. That's just the one where I'm at right now, where you feel like you have enough confidence in the knowledge. You've obviously got the book smarts perhaps, but how do you kind of work through that hurdle?
That's a great question, Terry. So first of all, I commend you for saying to your customers, I think that this is what we should do, because I think that makes you more open to hearing their feedback. And also, rather than walking in and saying, I know what we need to do, I'm not going to listen to anything that you have to say. So I think that actually makes you better at your job personally. So of course, with any certification, the best way to prepare is hands-on time with the product, right? And the more of that you can get, the better. But sometimes it's hard to know where to really focus your efforts, and to make sure that you're spending your hands-on time in an effective way. And so specifically with the CTA, I mean, that you called out like the toughest one there.
I thought I'd start with an easy one for you.
Yeah, just an easy one. Connecting with the community is key, and talking with people who are seeking that credential, people who have that credential, getting feedback from them on, hey, here's what I would do in this situation. What do you think? Or here's how I'm planning on preparing, or I don't know a lot about this. Has anyone done this kind of implementation before? And, those are the best ways. Also, with certification, we pretty much tell you what we're going to test you on. In fact, it's not pretty much tell you, we tell you what we're going to test you on, because we really want to make sure that, that we're fair, right? So, we've got our Salesforce values, but we also have certification values that we follow. And that is that we're fair, valid, reliable, repeatable. I mean, so all of these things go to building a credential that is recognized in the marketplace as a standard. And so part of that is telling you what we're going to test you on. So if you go to, to the information page about whatever credential you're seeking, and it should have a list of skills tested. And if you can print that off, make a checklist, and I'm not talking about going through and saying, well, I can describe what this is, but testing yourself and making sure you can do those things. That's the best way to prepare. I will also say, and I'll go back to my little disclaimer slide that was the one about, forward-looking statements. We do have a new leader looking at the CTA program and looking to see what she can do to really grow that community and that program. And so I would not be surprised if you get some outreach from her. Okay. Her name is Jeanette Stallings, and she's just super engaged around this and wants to make sure that we're making this the most useful program as possible for CTAs.
Very good. Other questions from people?
Did I see something in the chat?
Oh, that was just me letting people know what a CTA is, in case they didn't know.
You should have put that in the form of a question with a multiple choice answers, Carissa.
I mean,
there you go.
That way it would have fit the model.
We could have done a Jeopardy type thing.
Yes, right.
Hey, I have a question. Dana, my name is Kelsey. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay. So I want to know what your one piece of advice or like the first thing you would recommend someone to do if they want to start their journey of becoming certified.
So I'm so glad that you asked this now and not like a year and a half ago. So if you're working on the Salesforce platform, it's a little different from if you're working on the Tableau platform, but the first place to get started is Trailhead Academy, and choose your adventure. And we have the new associate exams that are really just a great place for people to start and to really build some confidence with testing in the Salesforce environment. And what I have found, so we have an internal mandate where we're all going to get a Salesforce Associate certified, which I'm like, you do know I have access to the items, but I swear I won't look. But I have found anecdotally and with my peers that the material available to prepare you for the Salesforce Associate credential is very good on Trailhead, and it absolutely does a great job of preparing you for that exam. And then from there, you kind of can choose your direction based on either what your current job is or what job you aspire to.
Great. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Kelsey, what exam are you thinking about, or do you have thoughts on?
I really have no clue. I came from sales, just being a user, and now I'm kind of in like a sales planning position, and to where I'm kind of getting into the back end of Salesforce and jumping into Trailheads. So I don't really know where to start. That's why I asked the question.
Good, very good.
So again, forward-looking statements. On our roadmap, we are looking at some new credentials for sales. And so, this is sort of a watch this space statement, not a promise, but hey, we're looking into it. We're doing the research, seeing if this is a testable thing, and what that would look like. So we might have something that aligns really nicely for you within the next year or so.
Very cool.
Well, I have a question. When does and if you don't have an answer, this is fine, but I've just always wanted to know, when does Salesforce decide to pull off older functionality from Salesforce exams? I'm thinking specifically of like information that was related to Classic, like when I took the exam and several years ago, pushing like Lightning was where everything was, but there were still all these questions that were very Classic specific. And I think now there are still questions related to like workflow rules and process builders, even though we don't create new ones of those. So I would just love to know when that decision is made to remove those from the exams.
So this is where it gets really fun. This is where I get super excited. So when we go to create an exam, we do what's called a job task analysis. And that's where we pull experts, into a room, people who are actually doing the job. And we say, what do you do? And then we say, okay, what are, how often do you do that? What's the importance that you do it right? And that's how we create basically the blueprint for the exam. And on a periodic basis, usually about every 2 years or so, we'll go back and revalidate that job task analysis. And so it just depends on when things fade out of being used. So you may have customers, so we found this at Tableau. So I created our architect exam back in the fall of 2019. And at that point, 80% of our server installations were on-premise and only 20% were in the cloud. Well, guess what? Today, it's flip-flopped. And so when we just went back and looked at that JTA again, it is completely different, maybe not completely different, but super different from how it was before, because an implementation on-premise versus on the cloud is totally different. And so that's the process that we go through. It's a lot about letting the community catch up with the technology, and making sure that we're testing you on things the things you need to know, regardless of what sort of implementation you're in.
Cool. That makes perfect sense. I was just curious, like, and I will say that even though flow is the way of the future, I have yet to work in an org without a single workflow rule. So important to know about them.
And did you guys catch the new flow character from
I
TDS?
did,
Yeah.
yes. It's about
So
time
cute.
flow got a character.
I
was
have,
thinking of a question in the
oh.
chat too.
oh, I have
Um,
kind of a related question to that, if I could, just related to like releases and knowing which release you're being tested on. When I was studying for platform app builder, I went to I went to one of the led courses, and the instructor was like, if you're taking the test based on this release, that you need to make sure you know these things, but if it's the new one, you need to know these things. But we couldn't find anywhere to know when I registered for the course which release that test was based off of. So I guess that's kind of a question: is there a way? And if not, then it's a suggestion.
Yes, thank you. So typically what we do is we share that in the exam prep guide on that page where we tell you everything we're going to test you on. Somewhere on there, it will typically say it's on this version. We're testing on this version. If you find one that doesn't have that, or if you have a question, go ahead and contact Trailhead Help. They can definitely, let you know what version of the exam you'll be tested on. Because we don't want any surprises. We want you to know what we're testing you on.
Okay, so you're saying like the trailhead trail mixers or whatever align to the release of the tests that are live right now that could be taken.
The trailhead mix don't necessarily do that, but the exam prep guide listed on the website.
Sorry, yeah, that's what I meant. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, sure.
I just shared a quick little screen share of what that looks like. So I got here from the certification page. And if you click on a specific certification, so this one is just for admin, and then at the exam guide, you can click here. And then at the top, it will, in big bold, tell you what release is being tested on. So if that is helpful, you know exactly how to get there. And then we have a question in the chat about, could you give some advice to people pursuing the admin cert as their first certification?
Yeah. Number one, don't get too wrapped around the axle. So one thing that I get asked by a lot of people who have never tested with us before is, especially if their employer is paying for their test, who will know, if I don't pass. Okay. So we never share any information about unsuccessful attempts. We never share any information about how many times it took you to pass the exam. And besides sharing it with you, we never share what your score was on the exam. Okay. So don't worry about that. No one's going to know if it takes you, how many attempts it takes you to pass an exam. So hopefully that takes away some of that anxiety. And then besides doing the trails associated with the admin exam, I would definitely recommend, if you can, getting to a boot camp is just an amazing experience. And that is such a focused, intensive learning experience. So for example, at the boot camp in Atlanta, the attendees will take the exam the first night of boot camp. And that sounds crazy, I know, because you haven't been to the class yet. But this lets you know, maybe you knew more than you realize. And if you happen to pass, you can change tracks and go to another track. But if you don't, you know where you need to make improvements. You know where you need to focus your efforts. And because the score report that you receive, in those high level buckets say, you met expectations here you did not meet expectations. And so that lets you know where to really where you need to really work. And then also at the boot camp, so the boot camp in Atlanta is 5 days, and then you get a second chance at the exam at the end. And if you don't feel ready at the end of the boot camp to test, you can take a voucher and test later. And that's not a problem at all. So that's why I push for the boot camps. I swear I'm not trying to sell it. I'm not a salesperson, but I'm a believer in that they work. We get superstar trainers to come in and do them. I mean, it's a fabulous experience. If that is not within the realm of possibility for you, then doing, like I said, getting hands-on with Salesforce, doing the super badges and all of the hands-on challenges within Trailhead is really a great way to prepare, and aligning your study efforts with the exam prep guide, of course, and then utilizing your community. I mean, like, not just the online Trailhead community and all the Trailblazers there, but your community that you have here, because I would venture to guess we have 1 or 2 certified admins here. Is that right? Just 1 or 2?
Just a
Probably 1 or 2.
Right. Cert days. That's a really good point, Mark. So cert days are a fabulous opportunity to hear, free attend virtually an instructor-led experience where they are walking through content that aligns with the exam. And I don't know this for sure, so don't hold me to it, but I believe that attendees get discounts on certification when they attend cert days.
They do.
That has been my experience, but
Yep.
you do have to attend because you don't get it till the end of session.
And
That's
they do
right.
expire at a certain point. So I
Yes.
think it's 6 months maybe.
Yeah.
Those are great, but you do have to plan to spend about 4 straight hours thinking about Salesforce. So they can be a little intense, but they're great.
Why would you not want to spend 4 hours thinking about Salesforce?
Right. Other
Is that what
questions?
you do every day, Carissa?
I mean, I do spend a lot of time thinking about Salesforce, but it's a whole other level when you're preparing for a
Sure.
certification and getting into
Yeah.
all the minutia. So it's all good. The worst one for me was probably the studying for the platform developer one, because I'm very not confident in my developer skills. So that was just like brain garbly and constantly getting more coffee. Like, how do I make my brain ready for this? So
But you passed, right?
I did pass,
There you
and I do actually write Apex code these days. So they
Well,
work.
let's talk for a second about preparation outside of studying and going to classes and all that, but like preparing day of the exam, right? So I've been in testing for a very, very long time now. In fact, I keep threatening that, like, I'm going to make all of my social media accounts, have the name "I will test you" on so many levels. My husband can attest to that. But when you are preparing for an exam, with Salesforce, you have the option of taking exams online or in your home, online in your home at work or in a testing center. I will straight up say that my personal preference is to test in a testing center, because I find that having that testing center take care of the technology, take care of, making sure that my space aligns with the program rules, and I'm not going to be disturbed by the mailman coming up to the door or the dog coming in or whatever it is. Or I'm not going to have internet lag based on my neighbors downloading, something crazy. That's just my personal preference. So test, however you feel best, but, make sure that you're comfortable with that testing environment and it is prepared for you. And then also, I would say I wouldn't do any cramming the day of.
Agree.
Because as Carissa said, you know, like your brain gets going and gets all full of stuff and you're just, and so, you know, go in, you know, do whatever meditation or whatever kind of gets you to your calm and happy place, and go in with the confidence, knowing that you know what you know. You may not pass, but you can demonstrate the skills that you have, and you're going to find out if you don't pass where you need to, you know, shore up your knowledge. And again, we're not going to tell anybody. This is between you and whoever you choose to tell. There's no shame in not passing an exam. And as long as you can eventually pass it, you have the same skills as everybody who passed it in the first time.
And Dana, is there I know there used to be a limit of 10 retakes. Is that still in place, or is it unlimited now?
You know what? I don't know about that policy. I do know that we have a time limit on retakes.
Okay.
So,
right.
You know, you can retake, you know, very soon after your first attempt, and then your next attempt, you have to wait a little bit. And then after that, you have to wait 6 months.
Okay.
And truly, one of the biggest reasons for that is exam security, because we know that there are people out there who take our exams and are just trying to gather questions, and then they're selling them on the internet, right? And so what this does is this limits the number of times that somebody can go in and take that same exam and gather those questions. And then after that 6 months, we've typically changed the questions.
Right.
So it's really to protect the value of your credential that we do that.
I was just curious.
So Dana, I've had the privilege of helping with some of the verification of questions and the creation process. Is how much information are you able to share about what that the actual test creation process is? Because to me, it was fascinating to be behind the scenes on some of that and the work that goes into the creation of them. Is that
Oh my gosh,
information that can be shared?
Because again, my favorite subject, seriously favorite subject. So I can share the entire process. So within the certification industry, there are certain processes and standards that everybody follows. And that's what leads to that fair, valid, reliable standard that we all aspire to. And, you know, so whether you're testing cosmetologists, poultry inspectors, or Salesforce certified professionals, you follow pretty much the same process. And this process is spelled out, and this is where I'm going to get really wonky, and I'm so sorry. The International Standards Organization has the standard ISO 17024, and that is what spells out the process that a program has to follow in order to really say that they have a certification, and not something like an end of course, you know, certificate kind of thing. And so we start with an idea, right? Like, hey, we think that, so an idea that's kicking around in my head is Tableau website administrators. And that's a new role that has grown because we've seen the shift going over into these cloud implementations. And so the first step that I'll take is, you know, doing some research and finding out how many of these are out there in the world. Is this really a job role that exists? And then finding out through a job task analysis, what do they do? And that's that process that I talked about earlier, where we invite people in. It's a big, long meeting. We find out everything about what they do. And then we identify those testable parts of their job. And from there, we bring in subject matter experts like Terry, and we say, hey, this is what people who do the job tell us we should test on. Can you write 4 items on this topic? And Terry writes items, but then we have other subject matter experts say, hey, that's not exactly how I do it. Or, you know what? The options that Terry gave for the answer choices, there's 2 of them that are right, or there's one that's not exactly right, but it seems like it's right and it's tricky. So by the time we get through all of the subject matter experts giving their opinion on these items, they don't look anything like what Terry started off with, which is why he can still take the exam, because he's not going to look at an exam and go, these are all my questions. He might look at it and go, this seems really familiar, but he's not going to look at it and 100% be able to say, oh yeah, this is exactly what I wrote. And then once we go through that item writing process, we also go through another technical review. And then sometimes we will beta a test. And that is when we have a version of the test that we have people take, and it has a bunch of items on it. So if you think about, an exam might have 40 items on it. This version of the test, we might have 60 or 70 items on it, because we're going to take those results and evaluate. So this is another wonky word, evaluate them psychometrically. And so that's the intersection of the psychology and the statistics. And so that's your test performance, how humans perform on tests. So we're going to evaluate the psychometrics of those items and figure out which items properly discriminate between the qualified and the non-qualified candidate. So for example, if you got so many right on the rest of the test, but you didn't get this one right, and a lot of other people had the same experience, this item isn't telling us anything about how good you are at the overall domain. But if you got all of them wrong and this item right, it's also not telling us anything. It's just telling us that you're a good guesser. So we'll throw that item out, or we'll rework it. The other way that we do it is when we don't do a beta, we get subject matter experts in to do a bookmarking exercise. And they come in and they tell us, we have a very small beta, they go through all of the items and they tell us, okay, out of these, 40 items, how many should somebody get right in order to achieve this credential? And, so we call that the minimally qualified candidate. And please don't take that to mean that they are less qualified than anything else. The minimally qualified candidate is an expert in this. Okay. So we're saying this person is certifiable in this. That's our minimally qualified candidate. And that's what those subject matter experts set that bar at. And then that's how we go through that process. And then we've got the maintenance cycle, which is where we continue to look at the psychometrics, continue to figure out which items discriminate, which ones don't, and go and improve. And also we look at which items maybe have a tricky distractor. Like a lot of people are falling for this one. Why is that? Oh, because it sounds like it might be right. Let's swap that out.
Yeah, I think I lead a lot of study groups and to help people get their certifications, and I'm almost always will hear somebody say, well, Salesforce is writing this question tricky. They're trying to trick us. And it's like, no, I promise they're not trying to trick you. and that, so what you just said there kind of goes to that point. It's like, none of the questions and answers are intentionally there to trick you. They're either 100% right or 100% wrong. And often it's just one word that makes the difference. And it's not that it's trying to be tricky, but you got to read those questions and the answers very carefully, because a word can make a difference. But some of my favorite meetings and all are some of those certification meetings where we will go back and forth on a question and answers and debate among ourselves. No, that's not right. It's a lot of fun when you get experts in the room and they start to talk through and battle with each other on whether a question and answer is right or wrong. It's just fun times.
It is. I'm so happy to hear that. And just FYI for anyone on the call who wants to become a certification subject matter expert and contribute to the development of new exams and the refresh of existing exams, we have I will send it unless you have it, Terry. I don't have it at
I
hand.
don't think I
We
have
do
it
have
handy either.
a form that you can fill out to just like tell us what are you interested in helping with and what's your background.
Very, very fun process. So yeah, I don't have that handy, but I can look for it if you don't. And
I'll
you can
email
share
it to you, Terry, and you can
Okay,
share it out with
okay.
the group if you don't mind.
Very good. We've got just a couple more minutes left. If you have another last minute question. Anybody excited about going and getting certified? Has this kind of motivated you to go try? Silence. All right, Dylan, thank you. Very good. What exam, Dylan, are you thinking?
Dylan, you have to unmute if you're gonna tell us what exam you got. Dylan did just get his platform developer one at TDX though. So
Oh,
congrats
excellent.
on
Very
that.
good.
Amazing.
Awesome. Luna, it sounds like you were trying to get a certification. Do you have any thoughts on which one? Sales Cloud. I'm actually leading a Sales Cloud study group right now. We've got probably about 20 people, I think, in that group. So that's awesome. Very good. Well, thank you, Dana, again for coming and participating with us today, sharing about the certifications and that process. It's just, I know for me, I won't say how many certifications I have because it doesn't really matter, but it's been a definite career change to leave, for me personally, leaving corporate America and then becoming an independent consultant. The certifications have certainly add to a person's credibility. And so if you're not certified and you're thinking about it, you want to know what the impact can be, reach out, talk to me about it. I'm happy to engage with you, help you on the process as well. I'm sure Clarissa would probably say the same thing. She's got plenty of certifications under her belt as well. So you've got a good community here that is more than happy to help you in that process. So let us know how we can support you, and we will absolutely do that. So with that, thank you again, everybody, for coming. Dana, especially for you and sharing the information. It's such an honor to have you join us today.
Thanks so much. I appreciate it.
All right. Have a great afternoon, everyone.